Hi, everybody. Susan Short with FBTV and Family Beautiful Magazine. And have we got an absolutely stellar show today? We have none other than Nate Jacobs of the Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe in Sarasota. Nate is the visionary CEO, managing director. Did I miss anything, Nate?
Founder,
Founder.
artistic director. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
Great.
I founded the company about 27 years ago. Yes.
27 years. So a lot has changed in Sarasota, this Gulf Coast region. The theater has changed so much. So tell us a little bit about the history, your vision, how you started, and where you've come and what the evolution is.
Um, I'm not from Sarasota. I am from Florida, born in Tampa, from a
Okay.
big family, 10 siblings, okay? And
Uh-huh.
went to school in Tallahassee, Florida State, Florida AM, Florida A&M University. Between the two universities, took classes, and was invited here by a mentor couple, Dr. Henry and Cynthia Porter, who had a private church school that they founded in their church. And they had no arts. And so they said to me, I know you have your life, you're just leaving college, but would you come through and help our school with some art? And I did. I came here because they had made an indelible impression on my life from their mentorship, and came here and fell in love with the school and the students, and I never left. And on that journey, I was the art teacher and the drummer. I started a little drama program, no money or anything. And she was the wife, Cynthia, was a student from Carnegie Mellon and went to school with Pee Wee Herman and some other big names. I didn't know. I just thought she was the pastor's wife. And she said to
Uh-huh.
me, you're a natural and you need to be involved with this rich Sarasota community. We got a lot of theater and da 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 da. And she introduced me to the artistic director of the Oslo around 1985 or so. And I was hired immediately. And over a few years, I was one of the local actors of Sarasota, one of the only African American actors. And I
Wow.
noticed that situation, and it was very strange to me. And no one was talking about the strangeness of I was like the only person of color on the stages of Sarasota. And little did I know that was my destiny tapping me on the shoulder of what I was to do. And what I was to do, which I look at West Coast Black Theatre Troupe as my life's calling, I was to start an institution that would celebrate a different voice, a different culture, and a unique people of African American, and celebrate the unique African American experience in this world and in this country. And thus was born West Coast Black Theatre Troupe. And we struggled drastically, like most black theaters in America, over the world, to be honest with you, with no home, no money, no support. The community began to love our work, but the core artistic community were looking like, we don't know if we're ready for this change. And the Arts Council and everything just kind of, and I didn't understand it. So 10
I mean,
years
it is
of
a little
struggling.
unusual. It's not like we're talking, years and years and years ago. This is recently. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, After 10 years of being in Sarasota and becoming aware as an artist from even the work I was doing as an artist of the money that the community pour into the arts, and it seemed as if they were acting as if they didn't see me existing. And 10 years, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to pack it up, move to New York, and go back to my performance career. But my heart smote me. And I knew that I was supposed to continue. And a mentor who was the former artistic director of the Oslo that I worked for had retired at 80 some years old. He found out I was leaving. And he came to me and said, Nate, you can't leave. You can't stop. You're doing a great thing. And I said, Howard, I'm not getting any support and I'm tired. I've been doing this by myself. He said, I know. So he
Uh-huh.
said, I want to help you. He came on my board. He talked me into moving forward. helped me with that decision. We went into the back of the Sarasota Art Center downtown. So I was in the
Uh-huh.
den of an art center. It was an art center by day, and we transformed it into somewhat of a theater space at night. And that's how we started
Okay.
off after 10 years. First executive director came on board, which was a former banker, businesswoman, Christine Jennings, that very popular fundraiser for the Democratic
I know
Party
her.
of
Uh-huh.
Florida. Yes, and she heard my story and she said, you know, you don't meet people every day who believe in dreams and follow dreams. And she said, I'm crying today. And I was shocked. She was sitting there crying, hearing my story. Because you stuck with it, Nate. She said, nobody sticks with dreams anymore. So she
Yeah.
came on to help me for 6 months, fell in love with the company and what I was doing. She stayed 5 years before going back into retirement where I met her. And
Uh-huh.
the world of WBTT finally found a home that they
Right.
bought and that we now own, and life and structure and legs. And now the reputation of this company, the community love and embrace and subscribe for. And we are one of the thriving and very powerful arts institutions of the state of Florida, definitely Southwest Florida and here in Sarasota. And I'm amazed at my journey, and I'm amazed at this city who believed in something different and a dreamer like a Nate Jacobs. uh, Sarasota is predominantly Caucasian community, but they believed in a Florida Black man who thought it was essential for the West Coast Black Theatre Troupe platform to be a part of this rich cultural, wonderful community. So that's kind of like an overview of my 27 years of being here as the founder of West Coast Black Theatre Troupe.
So tell us a little bit about what people can expect. What is your season? Your season is continuing on. I know we're going to go see the show that is Lies, Spells, and Old Wives' Tales. And then after
Yes.
that is Confederates. You also have like a summer theater program for aspiring thespians, actors. So tell
Yeah.
us how long the season goes and what people can expect.
Our season goes like any other arts organization in America, to be honest with you. We are a fortunate theater. Most professional Black theaters in the country, they very seldom do a typical season like most people know theaters do, which means 4 or 5 shows a year. In Sarasota, the season pretty much goes from October to the end of
April.
May.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. The running of this last show, we got one more week. Um, and so we are fortunate to be able to do that. We have subscribers. We have shows that run 5 weeks each, from Tuesday through Sunday, doubles on Saturdays. And this season, uh, we opened with the Broadway show Pearly. Uh, we were so
I was
fortunate.
in Pearly when I was in high school, actually.
Oh, wow. How cool is that?
That's so funny. I didn't know you did Pearly. I haven't heard that. That's a wonderful show. It's an
It
old
is.
show, right? It's a show from the
Oh,
20s.
from the 70s, actually. It
Oh,
was
from
it
the
was
70s. Okay.
70s.
I thought it was, yeah.
And it introduced the recording artist Melba Moore, who actually
Yeah.
came to the theater to see the show. She honored us by coming. She won the
Wow.
Tony for Pearly on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, that's a whole nother story of how I met her. Uh, she was become a mentor. Now she's a mentor and friend of mine. But we opened with
Wonderful.
Pearly. Then we did Black Nativity as our holiday card to the community, which is a gospel depiction of the Nativity. Um,
Oh.
which is very, very powerful. And then we did a drama from the Broadway playwright Dominique Marceau called Paradise uh,
Oh.
Blue,
Uh-huh.
and which is a community in Detroit. She's a
Uh-huh.
Detroitan, and most of her stuff she writes about Detroit. And then we went into where did we go? How I Got Over, which is a gospel celebration of the history of gospel. That was a sold out success, like most of our shows are.
Yeah, I've
And then
heard.
we are now doing a brand new show, Lies,
Uh-huh.
Spells, and Old Wives, Lies, Spells, and Old Wives Tales,
Tales. Uh-huh.
which celebrates women and the heritage that they bring to families and the gift they have of holding life together, holding community together, holding the world together, and being a Southern man from parents who were from Georgia. I grew up hearing all these little tidbits of wisdom and sayings, and they would have these things like, "Oh, my hand keep itching. I'm getting ready to come into some new money. My feet itch. I'm getting ready to walk on new ground." And it was a whole unique heritage that I grew up hearing
Uh-huh.
coming from these African American women of my life. And
Uh-huh.
you grow up and you find out a lot of, the apple don't fall from the tree. And you begin to realize the wisdom that was
Behind
in
it.
those sayings. And, my grandmother, of course, could not go to college. That was, I don't know if that was ever a dream of hers because she probably couldn't dream that. But that was the way my grandmother was able to pass down wisdom to all of her grandsons and
Uh-huh.
granddaughter to help us now that she has gone on to her heavenly rest to keep us here living by. And so that show is a celebration of that heritage, a new musical. My brother Michael, who is a recent kind of semi-Florida resident, wrote with me, and new music, new celebration of that heritage. So we're very excited about it. People are loving it, especially African American women. They get it when they come in there. They go like, "Oh my God, somebody is talking about this, celebrating this." Yeah, it's a
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah, and
Do
so
you think
next
people
season, huh?
do you think I don't want to get too far into the weeds here and then you can talk about next season, but do you think people are still doing that, with these like allegorical sayings and passing wisdom on that way? Or do you think we've lost it in our digital age?
It's dying away, Susan. It really is. I don't hear that in the world anymore. That when we do that show, and there's a song almost at the end of the show that I wrote called "These Are the Gifts These Women Gave," and we talk about what they imparted into our lives. But that is a heritage that you don't hear in the world anymore. And I was trying to say that
It's
is what
sad.
I'm getting from the audiences. They
Yeah.
say, "Oh my God, you reminded me of my grandmother, my mother, who would do this and do that and this with tears in their eyes." So no, it is a dying art, but and our generations are suffering because that stuff was made Nate Jacobs be sitting on this phone call today, sane and stable and
Right.
productive in the
Right.
world.
Right. Absolutely. Well, you have to continue to bang the drum, Nate, because,
Thank you.
it can't be lost.
Thank
Storytelling, the
you.
art of storytelling, the art of theater, the art of passing on wisdom through anecdotes, it can't be replaced by, I mean, it can, but, by
Yes.
TikTok
But yeah,
videos. Not,
well, that's the another important part for the West Coast Black Theatre Troupe platform. If I don't tell the story of the people that look like me, I mean, who else is responsible for doing that? So
exactly.
yes, yes, I
Exactly.
agree. Totally
I
agree
get
with you.
it. I get it. So tell
Yeah.
us about, so now we also have Confederates, and then tell us about the summer program and
Yeah.
tell us about next season.
So for this is our 10th anniversary of Stage of Discovery. I did that. It's a summer performing arts camp, a musical theater
Okay,
intensive. We do a lot of musical theater at our theater. So for young people, 13 to 19, they can come to this program. It's a 5-week program, Monday through Friday. They're there pretty much most of the day, from
great.
9 to around 5, learning the stage crafts of the musical theater, singing, dance, and acting. And then they do this big mega showcase for 3 days at the end, and it would blow you away. You would actually
I want
think
to go. I want to see it. I
you
definitely
have
want
to
to see
come
it.
see it.
I will.
Literally, you would sit there and go like, "Wow, these kids just been here 5 weeks and did this." Um, so I started off my discovery of who Nate Jacobs was as a school teacher, as I told you, at that private church school. And I've
Mhm.
always had a passion and a heart for training and mentoring and developing young people. It just seems to be my life all my life. I was chosen by my mom to be the caretaker of my five younger brothers, and I didn't even know I was in training for my future. So that is Stage of Discovery. Our education director, my colleague Jim Weaver, who is also the assistant artistic director at WBTT, he pretty much runs that program. I used to do all of that back in the day. I look back and I go like, how? I guess people did say I was a machine, but he's here as our education director, and he does a wonderful job. He and Peter Lee Baptiste, who is our education assistant, with running that program that we usually can take almost 40. I think this year we are taking in 34, 35 kids.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I tell them this is not a wallflower camp. Everybody participates. So everybody's under the lights and on the stage and learning that stuff. And for the
Right.
first time, to be honest with you, that's another thing I did not see when back in the day. I worked with several of our local theater camps, and I would walk
Uh-huh.
in there, and we would have even the city of Sarasota. It wasn't a performing arts camp; it was just a camp, and
Right.
you see
At a theater.
five African Americans, and then the rest of them were Caucasian kids. Not that I had any issue with it because I ran an after school program. Most of the kids were Caucasian. Matter of fact, all of them, to be honest with you, um, at for the city. And I loved those kids too. I just love kids. But it
Mhm.
was something strange again and wrong with that. So,
Right.
especially in the performing arts camps in Sarasota, they
Right.
were sprinkled one and two here, three or four there. So I am so glad that more kids from the African American community, we have mixed kids in the camp, get that chance to learn this craft at the stage of
Absolutely.
discovery. Confederates, we also have a 99 seat black box theater. We have a 206 seat main stage where you've been coming, and then there's a 99 seat black box theater. And we have been talking, me and my assistant artistic director, of debuting that black box space as a
Great.
space to start doing other pieces. And to be honest with you, we did. I learned everything. I think the name. It was a piece of August Wilson, the playwright. We did that about a year ago and it went very well. And this
Uh-huh.
is kind of like the official debut of that space, the
Okay.
WBTT. So it's a straight piece, a powerful piece, and I can't wait to see it myself. Jim Weaver is directing it, and Confederates is what it's called. And then a little later, in the summer, we do a couple of weeks of a Marvin Gaye review, and it celebrates the
Oh,
music
okay.
of the iconic Marvin Gaye, a man like no other, who left
I
a
love it.
legacy here. Probably right now, while we talking on his phone, somebody playing one of his hits, and he left that
Absolutely.
incredible
Keep
legacy.
that,
And
keep
then
that
that
royalty
show,
money coming in. Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, then that show plays here for 2 weeks for the community, and then we
Uh-huh.
go to the International Black Theatre Festival, which is held
Oh,
biannually in
uh-huh.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and it's a
Okay.
biannual powwow of professional black theater. So you have 60,000 uh,
Wow.
African Americans that migrate to Winston-Salem from all over the world to celebrate, like I said, that unique heritage, that unique story from wherever they
Wow.
come from. And we are one of the spotlight signature groups of that whole community and festival.
Congratulations.
And so that's, yeah, yeah. So it's a wonderful national uh, platform for the company. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Well, now
Great.
it's international,
Fantastic.
international platform. Thank you.
And you're selling tickets for the 26-27 season. And when does that season kick off?
The first show opens late November, and that is
Okay.
celebrating the iconic Duke Ellington with the
Oh, I
Broadway
love to.
musical.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
in the 70s, they celebrated him in a Broadway musical called Sophisticated Ladies, and we'll be doing
Yeah,
that musical. And then
great.
Sophisticated Lady closes. And then we do one of my top Christmas shows called Motown Christmas.
Oh,
It's
Motown Christmas.
celebrates the,
Wow.
yeah, it's a hit.
That's a
Hot,
hot
hot, hot
hit. Yeah.
show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we celebrate the heritage of Motown,
Right.
the whole industry of Berry Gordy's vision.
Yeah.
I pulled music off the I put actual music off the Motown artist records when they were
Uh-huh.
recording their Christmas albums, and some of the hits that they recorded, the R&B hits they recorded,
Uh-huh.
and talk about the institution of Motown and how important it is again to keep that story and that heritage alive, an industry that
Absolutely.
changed the world over forever and put
Forever.
African Americans on the music scene like never before. Berry Gordy broke the iron ceiling,
Yes.
where black singers were able to come off the chitlin circuit, which was just in little pots and holes in black communities with their music to the world. And so
Yeah.
that show celebrates that. And then we do our first Shakespeare, Midnight Summer Dream.
Right?
Um, and I've been talking to Jeffrey Owens, a
Uh-huh.
former actor off the Cosby Show. He was that oldest daughter. They had the
Uh-huh.
twins. He played
Uh-huh.
her husband on the show. And he and
Okay.
I have been friends for years. He'll be coming in from New York to direct our first Shakespeare because he went to Yale and his specialty was Shakespeare. He told me 20 years
Uh-huh.
ago,
Uh-huh.
when you do your first Shakespeare, I want to direct it. And so I gave him my promise. So now we are finally getting around to
Oh,
bringing
wow.
Shakespeare to WBTT. And so
Fantastic.
that's going to be exciting. And then I celebrate at the end of the season the iconic Stevie Wonder. It's
Oh,
called, and
wow.
that's called Stevie, the Stevie
Uh-huh.
Wonder Review. And so the man and his music, mainly what that is about. And that will play at the end of the season and into the summer. And excited about that.
That'll be incredible. Absolutely. I know the guy that did all of his recordings. I know him in
Oh,
California. He's an older man and he did Songs of the Key of Life. He had a studio
wow.
back in those days. His name is
Wow.
Robert Margouleff, and he created this certain type of sound, and he worked with Stevie Wonder. He's still around. And then
Wow.
I also knew somebody that dated him also.
Wow. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it
Oh.
is. Yeah.
But so that is the upcoming season, and that starts in in the fall.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Brilliant,
thank you.
brilliant. Such a treasure. So incredible.
Thank
Now
you.
you're at really incredible, not just the curation of the shows, the execution of the shows, bringing the cultural value and the performance value to this area is really incredible. So
Thank you.
thank you
Thank you,
so
my
much for
sister.
doing that. Kudos. And I'm so happy to be able to connect with you. So my
Thank you.
next question is, and yeah, I'm going to cut this off after that. Uh, so what do you see the future of the WBTT, and where do you get a lot of your talent? Is your talent from all over the country, all over the world? Is it local talent? Are they equity
Oh,
actors? That's a lot of questions.
uh, uh, well, for 10 years during the struggle, but building of the company, I was building significant, uh, you know, things that were foundational for establishing this company. We use local actors. I used a lot of the kids that I trained as kids who are now older teenagers and young adults in their 20s and in college
I'm
as
sure
the
they're
company
fantastic,
kept
though.
evolving.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They can stand on stage and with anybody. And about I would say 7 to 8 years ago, we became Equity Theater. We now cast actors from all over the world, New York, Miami, Atlanta, a lot of actors coming from Atlanta, Chicago, and all over the nation, and even the world. Because one of my founding members, one of the young girls I trained in the church school, has taken over Europe as an actress and a playwright. Her name is Afia Campbell, and she debuted this company with me 27 years ago. And so
Wow.
now we are just like I said again, thank God we operate like any signature white theater in the world. And
Right.
to be honest with you, the professional black theater world called us the miracle theater. They said it is baffling us because never in the history of the world has a predominantly white community supported an African American theater or any organization for that matter, the way you are being supported in Sarasota. And they are astounded. And I was looking around going like, well, I didn't know it was coming around the corner either, but I'm just
You just
happy.
did your thing. You just did your thing and you didn't even pay attention to what the
Yeah,
others, what else. Yeah.
yeah,
That's how you
yeah.
have to be. Yeah,
You
exactly.
do, you do.
Yeah,
But one thing, like you said earlier, Susan, you do have to put a quality product out before people. And I knew
absolutely.
that even in my struggle, when I was borrowing costumes like crazy and just shoestringing it like crazy, I knew when those lights went up on anything we had and wherever we ended up being, the back den of an art center or whatever, that art had to be quality because as
Right.
an actor, I observed this very sophisticated, intelligent audience
Uh,
who knew what they were looking at. So
right.
that was, I think, a big part of our success. They know they get a quality product as they learn about a new history, learn more about a new history that they don't know. And they're very intrigued and interested in hearing the African American experience in this country. But it does have to be a quality product. And that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reputation is that it is a super high quality product. I talk to people that come here from other parts of the country and the world, and the theater that they know about is the West Coast Black Theater. And that I'm not just
Wow.
saying it because we're interviewing, and I tell them about the Van Wezel. They may or may not know about it. I tell them about Flora Studio. I love them, all of the theaters in this town. It's my passion as well. And they may or may not know about it. The same thing with the Oslo, but they know about the West Coast Black Theater. So whatever you're doing, you're
Yes.
getting the message out. Whether you're doing it through
Thank
media,
you.
through word of mouth, people do know that it's a super high quality product. No one knows that,
Thank you.
there's no questioning of that. They know it's the truth.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for
They
talking
are
with us.
excited.
Pardon me?
Thank you. Thank you for your interest again. It's so great to meet you and knowing about what you do. And much
Yes.
success in all that you're doing out here. The people's out there on the front of the stage, center stage.
Well, I try to promote the arts. I try to promote Sarasota and the arts, whatever is going on here. I believe tremendously in arts in whatever age you are, whether you're, a kid, whether you're an adult, whether you're older. Supporting the arts is a really important part of the community. And I think it's something that needs to be promoted as much as possible. So the magazine and the media company really does promote it tremendously. So we're here for you.
Well, I
Yes.
am looking forward to a very bright future for us. I do want one day a legitimate theater. We have wonderful spaces, but proscenium we don't have, and some
Yeah.
of the artistic elements that is a part of theater, we are a little limited. So one day, we own the property next to us, and hopefully one day that will be our next theater performing house, as well as doing great stuff in the space that we have now. But
Yeah, that would
just
be
very
great.
inspired, yeah, and
Yes.
looking forward to a bright future.
Thank you. So I'm going to say goodbye and just don't hang up yet. I'm just going to stop the recording.
Okay.